Hello and welcome to the Week in Review, a recap of your weekly headlines on the Western Slope. I'm Chad Roderick. Now we start with a recently published essay by Mesa County Commissioner J.J. Fletcher detailing their progress in their years-long struggle to regulate illegal squatting and encampments. Ariana Boss reports.
A pervasive problem in Mesa County, years in the making. It's called illegal squatting, where long-term encampments form on privately owned or unauthorized land. According to a recently issued essay by Mesa County Commissioner J.J. Fletcher, the problematic practice has led to public health hazards, theft, littering, drug use, and other violations that have proven tough to mitigate since enforcement efforts ramped up in 2022. Officials from the Sheriff's Office and Bureau of Land Management have a few obstacles working against them. Fletcher says one of the biggest challenges is the land itself. The wide-open wilderness is one of the main attractions here on the Western Slope, but also makes for prime squatting location. For thousands of acres of land, there are only a handful of BLM law enforcement rangers. And removing illegal campers from a place they're not allowed to be isn't as straightforward as you would imagine. The civil eviction process can take weeks, sometimes months, with several phases of court proceedings and required steps that must be completed before anybody can be forcibly removed from a property. Finally, one of the greatest concerns is, where do these people go once they're kicked out? Mesa County says the cost of living and limited mental health options further complicate an already complex and sensitive situation. The Sheriff's Office says in part, quote, "Deputies have consistently been providing illegal squatters with resources to redirect them as they leave the desert. We recognize this population is vulnerable and continue to work with them with compassion." So where do we go from here? Commissioner Fletcher says they've seen measurable progress, having removed dozens of camps county-wide and ridded areas of abandoned RVs, piles of trash, and dangerous waste that has allegedly cost landowners greatly. But pictures are worth 1,000 words, and as Fletcher reminds his readers, in working towards the goal of keeping Mesa County safe, clean, and welcoming, we're not done yet. Ariana Boss, Fox 4 News.
And Colorado legislators offering their perspectives on what is now the longest continuous government shutdown in American history. Ryn Lewis talked with Democrat Senator Michael Bennet and Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd to learn more.
We need to get the government back open again.
Following Senator Michael Bennet's press call on Wednesday,
this is now the second longest shutdown in U.S. history.
I decided to speak with Representative Jeff Hurd to get his side.
Every day that passes is hurting Colorado families, it's hurting small businesses, it's hurting our farmers and ranchers, it's hurting our men and women in uniform.
Both spoke about SNAP benefits, which are set to run out on November 1st.
This is a really serious situation. In Mesa County, we have families and senior citizens that are going to be without benefits, without food benefits from SNAP here in just a week, a little more than a week, if we don't get the government back open.
When asked about SNAP, Senator Bennet stated,
"What the Department of Agriculture needs to do is make sure that they use every ounce of their emergency authority to extend those SNAP payments as long as possible."
Both also spoke about healthcare costs, with open enrollment on the horizon.
Well, certainly, the Affordable Care Act has not lived up to its name. It is not affordable, and we see that across not only our district, but the country. This is a top priority of mine. And I'm willing to discuss this with Democrats. I'm already on legislation that would extend the enhanced premium tax credits.
I believe we should have a universal health care, that health care is a right that people should have. The Affordable Care Act, which I supported, was an important step forward, but it is not close to what we need to do as a nation.
During the press call, Senator Bennet speculated that indecision and a lack of proper negotiation put them in this position.
The Speaker of the House has refused to bring the House back to Washington to have negotiations, and the combination of his failure to be here the last month while Democrats and Republicans in the Senate have been on the floor, combined with the fact that Republicans in both chambers can't make a deal unless they know what Donald Trump's bottom line is, I think has put us in the position that we're in today.
A statement Representative Hurd disagreed with.
We've already passed a bill that would keep government funding open. It was simply a continuation of government funding at levels that Democrats themselves had approved in the past. There's nothing to negotiate because we didn't add any special provisions in the bill. So the senators need to do their job, and that includes our senators here in Colorado.
When it comes to when they think the shutdown will end,
I think that everybody around this place knows that the ultimate decision about how long this is going to go is Donald Trump's. We'll just have to see.
Democrats in the Senate could open up the government any day. We just simply need to get them here in Washington voting to pass the clean continuing resolution, the government funding bill that we've already passed out of the House.
One thing both parties can agree on:
Get the government back open and let's get back to work.
I think the sooner the better.
Vin Lewis, Fox 4 News.
Also, in the wake of the ongoing government shutdown, federally funded food assistance programs are being suspended nationwide, including here in Mesa County. Ariana Boss found out just how serious the effects could be and where families suffering from food insecurity can still go for help.
I couldn't make ends meet, and so I relied on different nonprofits and learned about how some of these safety net resources really can help you get to a place of stability and the next step.
From struggling single mom to director at Grand Junction's Food Bank of the Rockies, Sue Ellen uniquely understands the fear that thousands of Mesa County families are facing come November, when the government shutdown threatens to suspend SNAP food programs nationwide.
For every meal that a food bank provides, SNAP provides 9 meals. So that's a huge impact.
1 in 8 people experience food insecurity on the Western Slope. That's the highest level in over 10 years. Due to the shutdown, Mesa County and the state of Colorado will not have the authority to release federal funds for SNAP benefits starting in November, funds that help feed over 11,000 families just in Mesa County alone.
The food assistance program currently pays about $3.8 million every month to our local retailers.
We are truly worried about our families and that in Mesa County and across the nation that are not going to get this assistance.
Depending on how long this government shutdown goes on, we could be looking at an impact higher than what we experienced during the pandemic.
But for families who rely on SNAP and are fearing for their future, nonprofit organizations are stepping up to provide hope and help.
We're going to be purchasing food so that we can fill in the gaps. There's people out there that can support you and resources, and it's okay to ask for help.
Ariana Boss, Fox 4 News.
And Ariana Boss this week also covering the effects of the government shutdown on our youngest Americans. Let's take a look.
50% of SNAP food stamp recipients in Colorado are children, as the government shutdown inches closer and closer to cutting off their federally funded food source. Caretakers and children's advocates statewide are making preparations to ensure Colorado's kids continue to be properly fed.
We need to step up in a real way. We need to be ready for all of those people that are hurting and going to be losing income for their groceries. So we're doing our best to prepare for what we don't know.
Come November 1st, Mesa County and the state of Colorado will not have the authority to release federal funds for SNAP benefits, funds that help feed more than 300,000 Colorado kids statewide and over 11,000 families just in Mesa County alone.
These are not just numbers in a document somewhere. These are like real families and real kids that are counting on this funding to get their meals, to grocery shopping.
Community agencies are nervous because we don't want anyone to be without. Our whole existence is to serve those people in need.
On Wednesday morning, Governor Polis's office submitted requests for emergency state support for food banks and announced plans to extend nutrition access through Women, Infants, and Children and Feeding Colorado. But where the government's efforts may fall short, nonprofits like KidsAid are ready to rise to the occasion. They tell us it won't be possible without the community's help.
KidsAid itself doesn't rely a lot on government grants. We rely on the community to step forward. And as long as they continue doing that, we're going to have the funds that we need to be able to put that food back in the kids' hands.
Ariana Boss, Fox 4 News.
And we move on with Election Day around the corner. Community members had a chance to learn more about the election process. Kyle Kawamoto has more.
Every vote counts. As we come to the end of October, November 4th is just 2 weeks away. On Tuesday, 2 groups had a chance to tour the Mesa County election facility and learn the steps into collective votes, and importantly, making sure their votes are secured.
They can see our judges working and know that the process we have in place to make sure that your vote is counted accurately. We check everybody's signature as those ballots are returned.
This is one of the many tour days the county is offering residents to see and learn the details of how a vote is counted, even down to the tiniest details of a ballot.
I was very surprised about how important the signature was on the packet. I thought that was just a formality, but this very high-tech equipment analyzes that and compares it to a database.
They really want to know exactly what that process looks like and get that information from a trusted source that they could actually see it in progress.
For New Dimensions member Roger Stanton, it's important to be more knowledgeable of what is happening in your neighborhood.
Yeah, this is one of the many courses offered by New Dimensions, and we sign up with the ones that interest us. This interested me in the age we live in, so I wanted to explore it more. It's been very enlightening. I love it.
Once they leave, they typically have a whole different perspective on how our elections are conducted, and they typically have a lot more faith in it.
Kyle Kawamoto, Fox 4 News.
And Colorado Mesa University's Little Mavs daycare is supposedly in the hot seat after another failed inspection. Rin Lewis has all the details.
We feel like this partnership with CMU is a good opportunity for everybody involved.
Colorado Mesa University's Little Mavericks Learning Center has been quietly transitioning to new ownership.
Access Early Education Foundation is a nonprofit, and we truly believe in making childcare accessible to all families who need care for their children.
Jennifer Knott, Executive Director of Access Early Education Foundation, says Little Mavericks and Mini Mavericks will become Little Adventures on October 28th.
We kind of came in to take a look at the operations back in August, and so we're transitioning into the operation. Part of the transition is that we're moving everything into one building, and we'll be able to operate a little bit more efficiently.
In September, the Colorado Department of Early Childhood performed an inspection and found multiple violations. But Knott says reports of inspection don't show the whole story. Knott tells me many of the violations found in the inspection were found in classrooms where children were not present. Cleaning supplies found to be in reach of children, such as sanitizer, were non-toxic as required by the health department. And a plastic bag of batteries posing a choking hazard was also found in a classroom without children. Despite their probationary status, Knott says Little Mavericks has made a lot of progress.
We've come a long ways, and we're really excited to share that with the community.
Ren Lewis, Fox 4 News.
And President Donald Trump's idea this week to buy more beef from Argentina is drawing strong reactions from Colorado ranchers and lawmakers. Marge Tobin covers the pushback.
A new proposal to import more Argentinian beef is drawing criticism from U.S. cattle producers, including those here in Mesa County. The idea was introduced over lunch at the White House, with President Trump telling senators he's considering buying more Argentinian beef to help lower food prices. But farm state lawmakers and ranchers say that move would hurt American producers and put U.S. livestock at risk.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the beef community, in the cattle community, and where does this go? So it kind of leaves us all up in the air. Just from one comment.
Van Winkle says even though Argentina supplies only about 2% of the beef imported to the U.S., just talking about expanding that amount has shaken the market and raised serious concerns about disease.
If we were to reintroduce foot and mouth disease into the United States, that would have a devastating impact on our livestock. They depopulate herds, so they kill cattle. And Argentina, there is some concern that they are not hoof and mouth free.
Van Winkle says ranchers are finally seeing profitability after years of low prices, and any new import plan could jeopardize that progress.
Over 90% of our cattle are produced on family farms and ranches, and that's who would be hurt the most by this.
Congressman Jeff Hurd agrees, saying the focus should be on supporting local producers and protecting the nation's food supply.
Most people don't appreciate the fact that food does not come from the grocery store. It comes from the hardworking men and women and families like those in Colorado's 3rd Congressional District who work hard to put food on our table. I don't think the solution in our country is importing beef from another country. We need to make sure that we're helping to support our hardworking ranching families.
Ranchers say their livelihoods and the health of America's cattle herds depend on keeping production strong and secure in the U.S. Marge Tobin, Fox 4 News.
In health news, according to the Colorado Coalition, 1 in 7 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Kyle Kawamoto spoke with an oncologist from Community Hospital who says there has been an increase in breast cancer in the last 5 years.
Getting a mammogram at the age of 40 can be a lifesaver. Community hospital officials say that age is a significant risk factor for breast cancer, with more cases seen in women under 50. And that age significantly increases the risk of breast cancer in women in the last 5 years.
I see a lot of breast cancer patients that are actually younger these days. So they're young moms with little kids. And so we often get our social workers involved because we need that support to how to navigate not only the patient through their cancer journey, but also their family members and their children, for example.
Dr. Christina Gutsuliak, who is a medical oncologist with Community Hospital, tells me the recommended routine screening mammograms start at age 40 due to a rise in diagnoses among women in their 40s and 30s. It's important to recognize that women in their 30s are also at risk.
Screening mammograms really do save lives and increase cure rates if we can find these cancers at an early stage.
By finding those at an early stage are key signs that include breast asymmetry, lumps in the breast or armpit, nipple changes like inversion or discharge, and skin changes such as dimpling or a rash. Many early stage cancers show no symptoms, highlighting the need for regular screening to detect them early.
Sometimes with skin changes, so that's sometimes a tricky one. So sometimes it can present with either a rash or some skin dimpling. So one of the classic signs is kind of what we call the orange peel appearance of skin, so that dimpling sign.
Dr. Gutzilier breaks it down for me that there are different types of breast cancers depending on their causes. Key markers include hormone positive, HER2 positive, and triple negative breast cancers. Triple negative cancers are often more aggressive and diagnosed later, showing a lot of biological variability. Kyle Kawamoto, Fox 4 News.
And continuing our health coverage, cases of measles are decreasing in Colorado, but state health officials want to keep communities aware of how their tracking system works. Kyle Kawamoto has more on what the process entails.
This is a really important, still relatively new surveillance system that is becoming more important as we have limited clinical testing.
Officials at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment are still on alert for cases of measles that may be lingering around the Centennial State.
And so we can assess the health of an entire community with these wastewater samples to determine disease trends.
Back in May, the agency kicked off a pilot project testing for measles in wastewater. This process allowed them to evaluate the test sensitivity and set a reporting threshold for local health departments. The project offered an opportunity to detect measles in Mesa County when they were first spreading.
So we were able to detect measles genetic material in wastewater before any of the clinical cases were identified.
We reached out to Mesa County Public Health for comment on this tool. Deputy Director Erin Minnereth responded in part. The detection of measles in Mesa County wastewater was part of a pilot project exploring how wastewater testing can support early identification disease activity in the community. At the time, notification protocols were not set. There was a short window between the detection of measles genetic material in the wastewater and confirmation of our first measles case in Mesa County. Once we confirmed the initial case of measles, we notify medical providers in the community, end quote. CDPHE officials say this tool is going to be the future of health surveillance, allowing them to identify disease trends in Colorado communities.
Yes, this is another layer of surveillance data that we can provide to the public to help them assess their disease risk and make decisions about vaccinations.
Kyle Kawamoto, Fox 4 News.
And a newly published state report on domestic violence shows a troubling trend in violent incidents and deaths across Colorado. Ariana Boss leads us through those findings.
While the homicide rates in Colorado have fallen to their lowest level in 5 years, domestic violence deaths have risen by over 1/3. That's all according to an annual report released Tuesday by the Colorado Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board. Chairman of the board, Attorney General Phil Weiser, called the latest findings sobering. For the first time since the board was created, he says, nearly 1 in 5 Colorado homicides was connected to domestic violence. The 55-page report says abuse can really affect anyone at any age, with domestic violence victims ranging anywhere from 14 to 91 years old.
Domestic violence can touch anybody for any reason. I don't think that there's any one group of folks that is immune from domestic violence.
Another troubling trend, the vast majority of domestic violence incidents were female victims and male perpetrators, with 89% of domestic violence fatality victims being women and girls, and 90% of perpetrators being men and boys. But behind those staggering statistics are real people whose lives were taken by domestic violence. In the report, a memoriam is included for 46 Colorado victims who were killed in 2024 alone. Some lived right here in Grand Junction, others were as little as 3 months old. So where do we go from here? Well, the report offers recommendations for curbing domestic violence, with some suggestions including a required removal of firearms at domestic violence arrests and providing resources to both victims and perpetrators even when there isn't enough probable cause to bring someone in. But in the meantime, experts say the best thing a victim of domestic violence can do is fight the stigma and reach out for help.
There's a lot of shame in domestic violence, right? I heard a quote a long time ago that domestic violence only survives in silence. I would encourage anybody that wants to try to have that conversation of moving out of an abusive relationship that we have resources available.
And a full list of those resources can be found on the Mesa County Victim Resources webpage, www.mesacounty.us. Ariana Boss, back to you at the desk.
And we go back to how locals are reacting to the government shutdown. Some Grand Valley businesses are now stepping up to help residents affected by the situation. Kyle Kawamoto has the story.
Everybody needs a paycheck. That's why we all go to work, right?
The shutdown continues to affect federal employees in western Colorado, such as those overseeing the region's national parks. And just recently, local businesses such as Timberline Bank and Housing Resources of western Colorado have started lending a helping hand.
There are people that are working right now that aren't getting paid. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of those who are helping those folks that are impacted by that.
Here at Housing Resources, administrators emphasize the urgency of supporting those affected by federal government layoffs and furloughs. The agency offers HUD-certified housing counselors to assist those with financial trouble. They help create plans, manage emergency budgets, explore resources, and communicate with servicers or landlords during these challenging times. Elsewhere in the city at Timberline Bank,
We're very interested in helping our community. So where there is a need, we try to fill that need. And with federal employees being furloughed, we thought that might be something that would be of help.
The bank has modified a loan program with 0% interest and no payments for 6 months to help federal employees. Organizers say community interest in this program has been encouraging. Timberline offers this assistance at branch locations in Grand Junction, Montrose, and Aspen, focusing on individual needs with a simple application process.
It's reassuring that we're still a small community and we care about each other. So I think that's what it speaks to me, is that there are people, they hear what's going on and they're not just settling to be like, let's just let these people fall by the wayside. No, we're coming together as a community to help.
Kyle Kawamoto, Fox 4 News.
Have you ever wondered what legal resources are available to you without going through the cost of paying a lawyer for a consultation? Well, the 21st Judicial District held its annual Legal Resource Day at the Mesa County Library to help the public with those questions. Ren Lewis has more.
We're trying to reach out to the whole community, see if we can help out.
The 21st Judicial District, along with Mesa County Libraries, held a free Legal Resource Day on Tuesday.
It's held for pro se parties, people who do not have representation. We try to hold this event to help them gather resources.
Lourdes Galvan, a self-represented litigant coordinator, or Sherlock, says the event is usually held once a year.
It's just a one-day event, usually held during Pro Bono Week.
The event had presentations on child support and contested hearings, as well as the opportunity to speak to an attorney regarding civil questions.
There's not a lot of resources out there for the community to be able to talk to an attorney for free. And this is a one-time event during the year that they can do that.
Galvin says events like these are important for those who might not be able to afford an attorney otherwise.
Usually it could cost a person, I don't know, anywhere between $100, $200 to retain, to ask an attorney for like an hour or so. So I think it's important that people have this option to come and talk to an attorney.
Galvin says if you weren't able to attend today's Legal Resource Day, you can still ask a Sherlock your question during the court's normal business hours, 7:30 to 4:30.
If a Sherlock is not available, a self-represented litigant coordinator, you can send an email at 21selfhelp@judicial.state.co.us or call us at 970-257-3663. We are a free resource. Pro se parties can ask general questions about process, procedures, any court questions on civil matters. So reach out if you do have any questions or want to set up an in-person appointment, and we can help with that.
Ren Lewis, Fox 4 News.
And with drought conditions in western Colorado, you may be wondering what our snowpack will look like this upcoming year. Kyle Kawamoto spoke with a state climatologist and the city's utility director to find out more.
When it comes to seasonal forecasting, we never know exactly what's going to happen. All we can say is that La Nina is in place right now. That tends to be good for the Northern Rockies.
For seasonal forecasts, the focus is on longer-term climate patterns, like sea surface temperatures, which have limited effectiveness in predictions. He also notes that seasonal forecasts can be uncertain, as they depend on the occurrence of significant storms during the winter months. But for the city, the outlook in winter storage is looking in the positive direction.
Taking into consideration the recent rains, but it's looking pretty good. All indications are that we will have plenty of water in supply and storage over the winter to carry over.
Randy Kim, the utilities director for the city of Grand Junction, explains that dry soil before snowfall helps collect runoff water during spring, ensuring better water availability when needed.
For the last few years, our soil moisture has been super low, and we've had, because of the droughts, we've just had really dry conditions.
During the summer, the Western Slope saw very dry conditions, which resulted in the drought meter to go into the exceptional drought phase. But it wasn't until last week where the Western Slope jumped out of the lowest part of the drought.
For most of the region, although Aspen is seeing some of that as well.
CSU Climate Center officials suggest that by spring, they will have a clear understanding of the water supply and runoff season based on the snowpack levels. Kyle Kawamoto, KREX News.
And in more utility and water coverage, it's Kyle Kawamoto once again. He's been all over the valley this week. Kyle has the scoop on a ratified letter from the Mesa County Commissioners to the Colorado Water Conservation Board. This letter commits a 50% fiscal match on a new project along 38 Road in Palisade.
Along 38 Road, there will soon be a new project that aims to better biker safety and improve water flow into the Colorado River.
Being able to do this project and provide that pedestrian and bicycle access for that whole fruit and wine byway and the vineyards and everything, we'll have to be working with them to ensure that construction is outside of their growing season.
Page tells me the initial project cost for a transportation alternative grant exceeds estimates. That is why two projects were combined by installing two pipes into the ditch, which would allow for a shared road and path above it. Then on Tuesday, the Mesa County Commissioners moved forward by paying over around $1.7 million to receive the grant agreement for the Colorado Water Plan grant.
It's trying to find whatever source of funds out there through state and federal grants that would allow this project to move forward,
which will help with the costs.
You can see on the map right here along 38 Road, all of this is where the pipe is going to be in place for the project when it moves forward. Well, let me give you a different perspective. As you can see, the canal right behind me, that is going to be replaced by 96-inch diameter pipes.
The proposed moving from open channel to pipe provides hydraulic efficiencies that allow us to move water from our after bay of both our pumping plant and the hydroelectric plant to up above the Grand Valley Irrigation Company diversion dam.
Officials believe this will be a major help for safety.
What it's going to provide, taking the footpath or the foot traffic off of 38 Road, absolutely provides safety, safer passage for the vehicular traffic.
Kyle Kawamoto, Fox 4 News.
In other news, organizers were starting to think it might be the last roundup for a local nonprofit facing financial struggles. But thanks to a generous donor, the Grand Valley Horse Rescue is riding high for now. As Ren Lewis explains, the organization isn't back on the saddle just yet.
I really think we're worth saving.
Grand Valley Horse Rescue, a local nonprofit, has been facing financial struggles since the beginning of 2025.
At the beginning of 2025, the first quarter, we went back to our normal businesses that we get sponsorship, and 75% of them would not sponsor us again this year. Then in May, we had $1,650 worth of individual sponsorships that come in on a monthly basis, all cancel within 5 days. And then from there, we just haven't gotten any traction at the fundraisers.
Shelley DeVergie, director of Grand Valley Horse Rescue, says they were worried about making ends meet by the end of October until
the article came out in the Daily Sentinel. I posted it on Facebook, And within 30 minutes, one of our longtime sponsors put $2,600 in our PayPal account. Just a individual person who's been donating $25 a month for the last 4 years and said, I can really help you out now.
14-year-old Amina Bryant, who's in Grand Valley Horse Rescue's youth program, says she was excited to hear the nonprofit won't have to surrender its horses by the end of the month.
Grand Valley has definitely made a huge impact on my confidence and my ability to feel comfortable around people. I am a singer, and being here has definitely helped me be proud of my voice.
DeVerge says despite the donation, they're not completely in the clear yet.
Right now we can breathe till the end of the month, but then there's the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that.
But they will be able to stay open until their annual Ride to Meet Santa event.
That's what people can do to help us. If you want to have your child have a wonderful experience, come the Saturday after Thanksgiving right here and put your child on a horse and ride up and have your child tell Santa what they want for Christmas.
Another way to help? Sponsoring a horse for $25 a month.
I think we're a valuable part of our community and need to be saved.
Ren Lewis, Fox 4 News.
And we have some fun news in our final story. Jeff Hinkle went down to the Botanical Gardens of Western Colorado to check out the Fall at the Gardens Harvest Illuminated Festival.
For most of us, our jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween will look something like this, the basic eyes and mouth. But here at the Fall at the Gardens Harvest Illuminated Festival at the Western Colorado Botanical Gardens, you can learn from the pros on how to carve something like this. This is an entire charcuterie board made out of entirely pumpkins. You have pizza, you have sandwiches, you've got even cheese puffs that are made out of pumpkins. Let's talk to one of the sculptors behind this magnificent artwork.
Every year we make it better. We try to push the envelope creating with all the artists we have.
It's opening night of the Fall at the Gardens Harvest Illuminated Festival, and the pumpkins have arrived.
In the ballpark around 700, I think, what we carve.
Okay, a lot of pumpkins have arrived, and master pumpkin sculptors like Willie are doing all of this for a good cause. The proceeds from this event and a pumpkin auction that's going on during it go to help Strive, a local nonprofit that helps individuals with developmental disabilities. And an event like this doesn't just happen overnight.
It's a whole year of planning for this event. It's one of my favorite events that we're bringing in the Valley.
Willie's brought along a group of fellow sculptors from the Food Network show Halloween Wars, which he's also on, and so far, the artwork that they've created is the pick of the patch. Jeff Hinkle, Fox 4 News.
Man, that looks like fun out there, Jeff. To all of you who love carving pumpkins, we appreciate your art. I think I carve the same face into my pumpkin every year. But that does it for the Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. We'll see you next week.